Today we're diving deep into the science behind espresso to uncover exactly why your espresso might suck, and more importantly, how to fix it. I'm going to show you 4 simple yet effective techniques to get the most out of your espresso machine. On the left, you can see the types of espresso I used to make, the way many of us do at home, and on the right, how I make espresso now. Stick around as we dive into what the new Lizzie is doing differently and how you can replicate these results in your own kitchen. If you're new here, my name's Lizzie and I'm all about helping you make better coffee at home. So if you want to know all about that, hit the subscribe button. It really helps us keep making these videos. And for our returning viewers, glad to have you back. So, what exactly is espresso? It's not just strong coffee. Espresso is a brewing method that uses high pressure to force hot water through finely ground coffee. This process, which takes about 25 to 35 seconds, results in a concentrated shot of coffee, known for its rich flavour and creamy foam called crema. It's used for nearly all milk-based drinks like flat whites and cappuccinos. Now the key to a great espresso lies in the details. First, your beans. Are they fresh? Espresso needs freshly roasted beans, ideally used within a week or 2 to a month from their roast date. If you're buying beans of decent quality, there should be a little label that tells you the roast date, so keep an eye out for this when you're buying your coffee. If you use old, stale beans, you're going to end up with a flat, lifeless espresso, like the one you can see here. Look at the difference. On the left are some beans that haven't been stored correctly and they've been hanging around for a couple of months, and on the right, freshly roasted beans. The general consensus among baristas is this: the prime window for enjoying your coffee beans spans from 7 to 21 days post-roast. This period ensures you're savouring the richest flavours your coffee has to offer. When selecting beans for your next brew, remember to bypass those roasted within the last week. Freshly roasted beans undergo a degassing period, a vital phase where they release gases from the roasting process. Brewing them too soon means they haven't settled into their full flavour profile, leading to a less than ideal cup of coffee. We always make sure to ship our roasts so they're at the optimum stage and ready to brew. Also, are you using the right roast? While there's no wrong choice, medium to dark roast often yield the richest crema. We'll be using our espresso blend today, which is a relatively dark roast. If you want to try this or some other great coffees, we currently have 20% off our subscriptions. Just use the code on screen and the link in the description. Next thing to do is grind your beans. This is where most people go wrong. So the espresso needs a fine grind, but not too fine. We're talking about a consistency finer than table salt. This fine grind allows the hot water to extract the coffee flavours quickly. It's a delicate balance. Too coarse and your espresso will be under-extracted, weak and sour. Too fine and you'll over-extract, leading to bitterness. For best results, you always want to grind your beans fresh. If you don't have a grinder, then you can always get an espresso grind from your roaster. When I first started making espresso at home, I messed up. I was using the wrong type of grinder, which meant the pressure wouldn't get high enough. The water would flow straight through the machine, and I was ending up with some pretty bad results. You need a grinder which can grind for espresso. We're using the Fellow Opus, which is a great all-round versatile grinder, and you can fine-tune it to make it work for espresso. This is how your coffee grounds should look. You'll want to experiment with the grind size, as different beans may need a slightly different grind. This is known as dialing in your coffee, which kind of needs a separate video in itself, but let me quickly go over how you can do this. We can simplify it into 4 essential steps. The first is to start by selecting the right coffee to water ratio based on the roast level. So for dark roast, you want a 1:2 ratio. For a medium roast, it's 1 to 2.5. And then for a light roast, you want 1:3. The second step is to adjust your grind size to make sure that you get an 18-gram shot in about 30 to 35 seconds, aiming for a 45-gram output. If the extraction is too slow, coarsen the grind. If it's too fast, make it finer. The third step is to taste your shot and adjust based on flavour. Extend the extraction time if it's sour because that's under-extracted, shorten it if it's bitter because that's over-extracted. The fourth step is to fine-tune it by only changing the extraction time or amount slightly to perfect the balance. For a detailed chart on ratios and adjustments, check the link in the video description. Now, let's delve deeper into the next step: puck prep, tamping, and distribution. These steps are crucial in avoiding a common espresso problem known as channeling. But first, what exactly is channeling? Well, this here is a bottomless portafilter, and it helps us to see if there are any issues. Day to day, I just use this regular one, but this should help show you what happens when you overlook your puck prep. Channeling occurs when water shoots through the coffee puck unevenly. This usually happens if your coffee bed isn't level or if it's unevenly compressed. And the result is a shot that's bitter and over-extracted in some parts and sour and under-extracted in others. Proper distribution is the first step in avoiding channeling. Before you tamp, you need to make sure your coffee grounds are evenly spread in the portafilter. You can do this with a few simple taps or using specialized distribution tools. There are several distribution tools out there like this one that evenly spreads the grounds, but they can get pretty pricey. Another popular method is using a needle or a WDT tool to break up clumps and evenly distribute the grounds. Now, some people spend hundreds of dollars on this, but you can pick up a decent WDT tool for a few dollars. Or if you're on a budget, a few cocktail sticks jammed into a cork can also work. Basically, just find a method that works best for you. After distribution comes tamping, and the goal is to create a uniform and level coffee bed. A good tamp isn't just about applying pressure, it's about ensuring that pressure is evenly distributed across the coffee puck. I recommend using a tamping mat like this one, which just protects your kitchen worktops and makes cleaning up a little bit easier. So hold your tamper like you would a doorknob and press down evenly. You're aiming for about 30 pounds of pressure, but consistency is key. If you really want to nerd out and get it right, you can always practice with some scales to just get a feel for it. But a good amount of pressure will do the job. You can't really over tamp. Once the beans are compressed fully, you should be good to go. A level tamp ensures that water flows evenly through the coffee, reducing the risk of channeling. Remember, good distribution and tamping are crucial for a balanced, delicious espresso. Avoid channeling by taking your time with these steps. It might seem small, but it makes a huge difference in your espresso quality. Great, so we've covered the beans, the grind, and the tamping. Let's talk about the actual brewing process. The magic of espresso happens when hot water meets coffee at high pressure. But how do you know if you're doing it right? First, let's consider the temperature. Ideally, your espresso machine should heat water to about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Too hot and you'll over-extract. Too cold and you won't extract enough flavour, leading to a sour, underwhelming shot. As always, when you're brewing coffee, a light roast needs a slightly higher temperature and a dark roast you want slightly lower. Now, the pressure. A standard espresso shot requires about 9 bars of pressure. This is what creates that beautiful crema on top. But it's not just about hitting 9 bars, it's about maintaining that pressure consistently during the brewing process. Timing is everything in espresso. A perfect shot typically takes 25 to 30 seconds to brew. If it's running too fast, it's probably because your grind is too coarse or you haven't tamped firmly enough. Let's give it a try. Look at that, a steady flow, not too fast, not too slow, and a beautiful layer of crema on top. That's what we're aiming for. Now, when it comes to espresso machines, it's not necessary to break the bank for a high-end model. While you often get what you pay for in terms of quality and features, a good entry-level machine can still produce excellent espresso. I'd love to know what espresso machines you guys are using, so let me know in the comments down below. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, share it with your fellow coffee enthusiasts, and subscribe for more coffee tips and tricks. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.